Let's do this thing. What is going on, guys? Hey, this is Colton Woods coming back to you with another episode from Learning from the Experts. Now, today's going to be a little bit different. So I'm recording on the podcast. So I got my mic here and recording on the podcast mic, but I'm also recording on a video so I can throw something up here on YouTube. So you guys, if you want to see a little bit more of what I'm talking about, you can come on the YouTube channel and check it out there. But I'm going to do my best to make it so you don't necessarily have to, but if you'd like to, you can. So today, something's been on my mind, and I actually went live in a different group kind of about this a little bit in depth here, and it's blowing my mind how many people are not doing this. Like, it blows my mind how many people don't have this figured out, and they're in business, and they think they're going to be successful. Well, they may be fairly successful, but then like they could be so much more if they just understood these things. So I want to go through it. I want to explain it. I'm definitely going to be writing here on the video. I'm going to be showing some stuff as I can pull in my iPad feed so I can like write down and show you where I'm at. But for the podcast, hopefully you guys will be able to just, understand it from where I'm speaking. But anyway, so welcome to this episode. Let's go ahead and get started. Now, if you guys follow Steve Larsen at all, you'll know he talks about the 3 core markets. Now, when I say 3 core markets, there are literally 3 markets that any business sells into. And those 3 markets being, I'm going to be writing this, so it might be a little bit of lag on the podcast. Sorry about that, guys. So the 3 core markets, literally, it's health, wealth, and relationships. Now, what does that mean? Essentially what that means is whatever you sell needs to fit in one of those 3 core markets. And if your message or your messaging for whatever you're selling doesn't fit into those 3 core markets, then you're doing something wrong. Typically, pretty much everything fits in there anyway. Most people may even be doing it and not realizing it if they didn't know what the 3 core markets were. Now, these 3 core markets, this is like the sum of all business right here. So health, like there's a ton of health products, there's a ton of wealth products, and there's a ton of relationship products. An example of those, I absolutely love Steve Larsen's example of the Gillette razor. When he came up with that one, it was genius. So he talks about how like Gillette razors, you would think that they're in like the health market, like it's healthy, you want to make yourself looking better, whatever it may be. But in reality, they're actually in the relationships market, which is interesting because every time you see a commercial from them, after the dude's like done shaving his face off and looking all clean and like slick, some lady comes up behind him and just like fills his face up, so like they're selling relationships. Like, hey, if you get this razor, you're going to be able to find, a girl, or your wife is going to love you more, whatever it may be. Your girlfriend's going to be, won't be able to keep her hands off you. You know what I mean? So like, that's exactly what they're selling, but it's a razor. Like, you wouldn't think razors would fit into one of those 3 core markets, but they do. And the reason we bring that up is because you may not think, oh, my product doesn't fit in one of those 3 markets. It's possible that you may think that, but the reality is it can. It's all messaging. There's some really good stories. I'm like, I just thought of another one that I wasn't really thinking of before, but some good old school marketers. Steve talks a lot about Albert Lasker, and now I'm trying to think of the other guy, and I can't think of his name. Yep. Anyway, they're amazing. Like Dove soap, one that if you went to any of the Offermind events from Steve in the past, well, I guess the last one in 2019, he talked about Dove soap, and the messaging behind that was it's super genius on that one. It's not soap, it's lotion. Like, it's literally not soap. Like, they literally say it's not soap the whole time, even though it literally is soap. Like, but it's not soap. It's soap, but it isn't. The messaging is so key on that. They're actually selling I would say even relationships in there, because it's like, yeah, health actually. That's interesting. Like, oh, it moistens my skin and I feel better and better. Like, and then it talks even about how like, one of the ads is like, it's awesome. She's like, I was going to go out with my girlfriends and, I got in the bath and Dove slipped in with me and I ended up spending the entire day with Dove. And like, I have to tell all my friends about it, like it's super funny. So anyway, it's soap, but it fits in one of those three. Yes, a lot of different soaps can fit in the health, but you can also make it a relationships thing. Old Spice sells soap, and it's all about like, Axe is probably the best. Axe, I forgot about Axe. They're probably the best example of like, yeah, trying to get relationships from your soap. So hopefully that's kind of a little bit of an idea of what these three core markets are. Now, if you're trying to sell your product specifically, or I guess generally in this market, one of these three markets, you're missing the mark here. You don't necessarily want to sell directly into this huge ocean of all these different products and people. Now we talk about how those three oceans are like those three markets are like a red ocean. Like there's so many sharks in there. And there's so many people just trying to sell their stuff in there that they're like just eating each other. So there's just blood all through the water because everybody's killing each other. So you don't want to be in those three markets, like selling directly into it. You want to go a couple deep. And if you're watching on the YouTube video, you'll see this, but I'll try to explain it for the podcast. Excuse me. What you want to do is like, so for the relationships, health, and wealth, whatever your product may need or whatever it's going to be. So like for me, we sell a lot of keto stuff. So if I go to the next, if I go down, and if you've ever heard of like niching down, this is kind of that idea there. You want to find your pocket of your little smaller market of people who are looking for your product, but you can position it in a way that seems different than the rest of the markets. So you're creating your own market essentially, or finding a current market that's small enough that you can actually pivot and sell into. There's so many different ways, but I'll explain it a little bit here. So the keto market is fairly huge. Like if I were to get on AdWords and do nothing but pay for ads where I'm trying to get people on keto, where I'm like, hey, you're doing keto, buy this stuff. Like anybody who searches just the general word keto, I'm going to spend a ton of money trying to get them to come find my stuff, because keto is going to be an expensive keyword. I mean, that's a hot topic. That's a really big market. Now, the chances of me finding somebody who searches keto, sorry about that. I thought I turned notifications off. So anybody that searches the word keto, it's going to be expensive because that's a huge market. But if I were to go like keto for, that's a little bit small. So if we go down and I find a smaller market, I'm going to try to make this seem a little bit more realistic here. If I try to find a smaller market, one thing like we were doing was, or I was explaining on a different video, was like keto for entrepreneurs. That's interesting stuff. Like, hey, if you're an entrepreneur, you need to be on keto. And they're like, wait, what? Anybody that knows anything about keto is searching keto and entrepreneurship, or has any kind of keywords for that. Like that's gonna be a cheap keyword for me to get. And not only that, I'm gonna find somebody who is looking for like exactly what I'm talking about. So when they come onto my page or my sales funnel, the first page of my funnel, they're literally gonna be like, he's speaking directly to me, because I'm going to make the copy specifically for that person. So anybody that's searching this stuff, hey, you know what? Like I'm an entrepreneurship, like I'm in entrepreneurship, or I'm an entrepreneur, keto, entrepreneurs on keto, like different variations of that. If they're searching that, they're ready essentially to buy whatever I'm selling, because I'm speaking directly to entrepreneurs who need to be doing keto, or entrepreneurs who understand things about keto. So I can pay a lot less for a keyword. Yeah, there's not going to be as many people searching it, but that's the point as well. I'm not just looking for a general idea or general keyword that I'm going to try to pick off people that might be understanding where I'm going to be selling them, like might be ready for what I'm selling them. Instead, I'm just going to go for the smaller numbers and get directly to the people who I do want to sell right away. So hopefully this helps a little bit. If you're selling more to just a generic market, and let me get into this a little bit more. If you have a generic person or a generic who, everybody talks about know who you're selling. If you have a generic who, then you're it's not very good. I think it was Perry Belcher that talked about. I think it was him, but I gotta find this. Don't quote me on that. I gotta find out where the story exactly is. I can't remember. But he was pitching these two like salon owners. These two women that owned a salon, pitching them on this product that he was trying to sell them. So he goes in there, they're like the main people, and he's talking through this whole product, like giving his whole spiel, his pitch. And they're like, wow, yeah, this is great. This is cool. And then they kept like looking at each other, and they kept asking each other, you think Karen would like this? I don't remember if that's the exact name they used, or man, I feel like I used the correct name the other day. Anyway, you think Karen would actually like this? You think Karen would buy this? Do you think Karen would use this product? And they said it enough that eventually he's like, all right, who is Karen and why is she not here? Because it sounds like she's the decision maker and she should be here, because I don't want to be talking to somebody who can't make a decision on whether or not this product, whether or not you can actually buy this from me. Like, otherwise I'm just standing here wasting my time trying to pitch you guys on this product, and now you're going to go tell somebody and not deliver it correctly to the person who actually makes, the decisions. And they just kind of laughed at him and like, oh, no, it's Karen's our customer avatar. And he's like, you're what? Like, he'd never heard of a customer avatar at this point. So let me go back here. So a customer avatar, that's an interesting concept in and of itself. So the customer avatar, they literally had a paper filled out, like this big poster that had a picture, like a stick figure on it. I'm just thinking through what I saw in my head as I listened to the story. Like a stick figure of somebody with like it kind of drawn out into this girl, named her Karen, and then put on all of the things she likes to do, the things she doesn't like to do. Like, you name it, like they had this person dialed down. Like, it wasn't even a real person, but you would have thought it's a real person. They knew their customers so well. They knew exactly what they liked, what they didn't like, any of that stuff. So when he came in and started pitching them, they're like, you know what? We just don't feel like Karen would actually, like, this would be good for her. Like, we don't feel like she would enjoy this. We don't feel like she would actually buy it again or buy it in the first place. So they passed on it. And he's like, that is amazing. If you don't know your customer avatar, if you don't know who you're actually like selling to, you don't know how to talk to them. If you don't know how to talk to the person you're trying to sell, and chances are they're not going to relate with you. And chances are they're not going to understand what you're trying to say or sell them. So, and if you're just selling a generic person, you're going to get kind of a generic result, which is interesting. So I just wanted to go through this with you guys. This is kind of a base level. I know Steven's got I think he's got some deeper 3 core markets podcast that you guys can check out too if you want to go into it a little bit deeper. But I just wanted to put this out there. Like, I'm seeing so many people mess this up right now. So I wanted you to run through this with you guys, and have you, give you something to think on, so you can like figure out, you know what, am I talking to the right person? And chances are, like, if you know who you're actually selling, when they ask you something or they ask you a question, you're going to be able to answer, and they're going to be like, oh my goodness, you are totally correct. Like, that is exactly how I'm feeling. You validated exactly what I'm thinking and how I felt. I feel the emotion of you taking off the problem and giving me the solution that I've been needing. So yes, I need to pay you because you provide the exact solution for my exact like scenario or problem or whatever it may be. Whereas if I'm just trying to sell keto to anybody, it's like, yeah, you can still sell it, but you're not going to sell it nearly as well unless you're like speaking directly to your customer avatar. So hopefully that helps, guys. I wanted to run through that with you guys today. Yeah, go out there, keep crushing it. Awesome stuff, guys. Thank you very much. We'll talk to y'all later.